Inner core of the earth contain iron and magnesium, iron and nickel, silicon and iron, none of this. The answer is the iron and nickel. This is the mantle up to 2900 kilometer, and this is the core at the 6370. The discontinuity which separate mantle to the core, that is the Gutenberg Richard. Richard discontinuity which separate this one. The core of the earth is constant two metal, that is the Nephe. The word which is used as Nephe sphere, that is the nickel plus ferrium. Okay, and the speed of the seismic wave or the increases of P wave is here 13.6 kilometer per second. That is the speed of P wave inside the inner core. The answer is iron and nickel. Interior layer of the earth which is subjected to great heat and pressure is known and technically as the barysphere. Which part of the earth does it refer? Upper mantle, asthenosphere, hydrosphere and the core. Now see that the earth is the interior of the earth is divided into three parts. First one is known as the crust, second one is the mantle, and third one is the core. Now the what is asking a barysphere, a word which is generally used as BPL, that is the brand of the TV. Now reverse it. Barysphere is the this one. Barysphere. Second one is the perisphere, and this one is the lithosphere. Now according to this one, which one is the correct answer? D. The core is the correct answer, and the depth of the core is from 2900 kilometer, that is Richard Gutenberg discontinuity up to 3700 kilometer, and the layer which divided the core into two parts, that is known as the Lehman discontinuity, which divided the inner core into the two parts. Total account dash of the earth mass 1768 83 58, that is 68%. The mantle constitutes 68% of the earth mass and 83% of the earth value. Mantle is the inner part of the earth, second layer of the earth after the crust. This is the crust and that is the mantle, 2900 kilometer, and that is the crust. The crust separated from the mantle through the layer that is known as Mohorico, and the layer which separate from mantle to the core, that is the Richard Gutenberg. And the upper part of the mantle is known as the asthenosphere, from where the volcanic activity take place, and the mantle is divided into two parts. The discontinuity which divided the mantle into two parts is known as, just tell me the what is the that is known as, that discontinuity is known as rapidity. Core account dash of the earth volume 16 20 30 32. The answer is 16. How as you know that the mantle constitute about the total volume of the earth is 83%. It means after that the core has 16% and the crust has less than 1%. Earth's radius is 6,000 kilometer, 6,370, 6,400 kilometers, 6,520. That answer is 6,370. If you see the picture, this one, the inner part core of the earth, that is 6,370 kilometers. Thickness of oceanic crust is dash 5 15 30 70, that is the 5 kilometer. The thickness of the crust is minimum at the ocean and the maximum at the mountain. It is maximum, and at the mountain it is near about 70 kilometer. At the ocean it is just about 5 kilometer. Gas is the outermost solid part of the earth. Crust, mantle, outer core, inner core. The answer is the crust. Crust is the outermost part of the earth. Its average density is 5 to 70 kilometer. 5 to 70 kilometer. 5 kilometer at the ocean and 70 kilometer at the Himalaya. The average density of the earth crust is near about 33 kilometer. That is the interior part of the earth at the 3370 kilometer. Crust is divided into the two parts, outer crust or inner crust, and the layer which divided the crust into the two part, this one, two part, and that discontinuity is known as the conard. Discontinuity. It divided earth into two parts, outer part or the inner part. What are the characteristics of the outer part? Outer part average density is 2.8 gram cubic centimeter, and the rock which is generally find is here granite, and the continental crust is made up of this granite. So the outer crust is related to the continental crust, and which one is the inner crust? Both the layer is divided by the discontinuity, that is the conard. Conard discontinuity divided the outer crust with the inner crust. The inner crust is known as the oceanic crust. Oceanic crust, the rock which is abundant or mostly found is the basalt, and its density is 3 gram cubic centimeter. Now it is very clear that which layer of the earth, whether with the continental layer or the oceanic layer, which has the more density, that it proves that the oceanic crust has more density as compared to the continental crust. The answer is of continental crust is much as dash kilometer thick in the Himalayan region. Now first, the average density depth of the crust is near about 40 to 50 kilometer. In some book it is near about 33 kilometer. Now its actual ranges from 5 to 70 kilometer. 5 kilometer thickness found in at the ocean, and 70 kilometer thickness found at the Himalaya. So which one is the correct answer? D is the correct answer related to this one. The thickness of continental crust is 70 kilometer thick in the Himalayan region. Extend from dash discontinuity to depth of 2900 kilometer. Now see this diagram. This is the interior of the earth, that is the crust, and that is the mantle, and it is near about 2900 kilometer. The layer, a discontinue which separate this crust to the mantle is known as the Mohorico discontinuity. That is known as the Mohorico discontinuity, and the layer, the discontinuity which separate mantle to the core, that is known as Richard-Gutenberg discontinuity. Richard-Gutenberg discontinuity. According to this question, the answer B is the correct. The crust and the uppermost part of the mantle are called lithosphere, anisosphere, solid mantle, liquid mantle. The answer is the lithosphere. There are the three parts of the earth. As generally we know that the crust, mantle and the core, but there is a other definition which is that is the upper core, in which that is the crust and that is the upper mantle and crust. Both combination of this is known as the lithosphere. Okay, the center part of the earth is known as perisphere, and the last one is the perisphere, that is the core, and that is the mantle, and that is the core. But in lithosphere we combine the two layer, the whole of the crust and the upper part of the mantle. One of the following is a direct source of information about the interior of the volcanic eruption: meteor density and seismic wave. There are the two sources of information which tell about the interior. The first one is the artificial. Under this we included pressure, density, temperature, and second one is the natural. In this category we included metros, earthquake, and volcanic eruption. But in this, the most important one which tell about directly about the interior of the earth, that is the volcanic eruption. Why? Because at the time of the volcanic eruption, a liquid material comes inside the earth, that is known as the magma, which tell about the actual situation of the earth, that the interior part of the earth is in a semi-liquid. Mental external dash discontinued depth of 2000 kilometer. We early do this question. It is a repetition of the question. Now we can do again that is the mental up to 2900 kilometer. That is the mental. Okay, that is the crust is average density. That is the crust. Now the which layer it discontinued, that is known as the moho. That is the moho discontinuity layer which separate the crust through the mantle, and the layer which separate mantle to the core, and that is known as the Gutenberg discontinuity. The core of the earth in dash state, where the inner core in the dash state. The answer is B, liquid and solid. The core is divided into two parts. That is the outer core, which is from 2900 to 5150. It is in liquid form, and the inner core, that is from 1500 kilometer to 6370 km, it behave like a solid. The answer B is the. What is the mean density of material in oceanic? 3 gram cubic centimeter, 2.7 gram cubic centimeter, 1 gram cubic centimeter, 3.8 gram cubic. The answer is 3 gram cubic centimeter. As you know, the oceanic crust density is 2.7 gram cubic centimeter. That is the continental crust. Okay, and the oceanic crust density is 3 gram cubic centimeter. The answer is 3A, and what is proved that the density of the oceanic crust is more than the continental. The density of the earth is 3 gram cubic centimeter, 2.7 gram cubic centimeter, 5.5 gram cubic centimeter, 3.8 gram cubic. The answer is 5.5 gram cubic centimeter. Earth has the three layers. Okay, this one, take this one, the example of the earth has three layers. Crust, mantle, core. The average density of the core is 11 to 13. Here 8 to 9, and here 2.7 to 3. But the average density of the earth is 5.5 gram cubic centimeter. The answer B is the correct according to this one.